What is it like being a Jamaican in Iceland? Hi, I'm Xavier Murphy, founder of Jamaicans.com, and today in Jamaicans to the World, I talk to Claudia Wilson, a Jamaican living in Iceland. Welcome, Claudia. How are you?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Love the colors. Love the
Oh, thank you.
colors.
I'm representing home in the
which
darkness.
part of, which part of Jamaica you come from?
I'm from James, Jamaica. I grew up in a small district called Spring Garden, which is in the Welcome Hall area.
Okay. And are you
You know,
representing a
I
high
probably
school?
should try to describe it a little more so it's for people who are not familiar with it. You pass communities like Tucker, John Zall, Springmount, Springfield, and then you go to Kensington, and then you turn off Kensington, and there you are in the Spring Garden.
So, we're good at directions, right? We're like, check the car, right?
That's true. Pass my big tree to right up this up. Are you gonna take a turn this up? Are you gonna roll this up? Yes, that's it. That's true. Oh yeah.
So, are you representing a high school?
Yes, absolutely. Malden High School. That school is definitely my foundation, and I can say, it prepared me for a lot in life. The teachers from that school, we were not one of those, as you would consider, prominent high schools, but trust me, the education I received there and the life lessons, it serves me well even today.
Awesome. Awesome. Tell us the story of how you got to Iceland.
So I love to say that I moved here for love and adventure. And that's over 20 years ago, a young girl thinking that she knows everything about life in the world, picked up her stuff and moved to a new country. And here I am 20 years later.
Wow. 20 years.
I know
That
it's weird,
is,
right? Yeah, I
and
practically
I believe,
grew up here.
man. So, tell us about the people in Iceland.
Yeah, so Icelanders, they are a great people, honestly. They, even though the country is cold, the people are warm, but obviously, they also have to warm up to you. And, in my line of work, I've experienced how truly kind the people here are and how firm they are about, justice and equal treatment for all. And yeah, so I would say, it's just like great people, great people.
So I want the folks to know that, Claudia is one of the historic, groundbreaking people in Iceland. As a Jamaican, as a Black woman, I believe there's a lot of accolades she probably don't want to mention. She's an attorney, and so I think first Black attorney in this, first Jamaican attorney in that. Please, I know you don't want to share, but just tell
Oh,
us a
Jesus.
little bit about some of the historic things that you have done,
Wow.
and
Well,
also I know you and I spoke. You are going to be doing some new things.
yes, it's hard to talk about oneself, isn't it? So I have been told, let's just use that then,
All right.
that I am the first immigrant or female immigrant attorney in Iceland, uh, and that passed the bar here in Iceland, and the first immigrant overall outside of Europe to pass the bar here, and as you said, the first and only Black lawyer at this moment, at least. And yes, I've been a partner in one of Iceland's largest law firms for a of years. And I recently started my own law firm here in Iceland.
Wow. Awesome, awesome stuff. Congrats, congrats.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
tell us what area do you practice
Mhm.
in Iceland, and about your, the new
Yeah.
firm, what area that will be specializing in.
Mhm. So over the years, I've practiced, human rights law, um, and falls under that immigration law, refugee law. I've also been, dealing with other civil matters and, divorce and marriage and child rights and etc. And I also do criminal law and bankruptcy law, which has no connection to the rest, but it's something I enjoy.
Okay. Wow. Just some great, great achievement. Congrats on that, and
Oh,
congrats
thank
on your
you.
new venture.
Thank you.
Are you ready to tell us if there is a website or a Facebook social media page of the new
Yes.
venture, or that's it's in the making?
Yes. So my website is www.cpls.is, and it's just Claudia and Partners Legal Services.
Okay. Awesome.
Hmm. Yes,
You know,
it's
I can see yours, as you said before, you don't like talking about yourself, but with such great accomplishments, and I think I appreciate it, and I'm sure our viewers do appreciate that, how humble you are. You don't even look like past 18, and say, you
oh,
have your
thank you.
you have your own
Oh.
law firm here.
I appreciate that. No, it's I guess in life it's unbelievable something called passion. And when you're passionate about something, I feel like you become limitless. Because how I see things, my only limit is myself. And so I try to remember that, and obviously stay grounded. Where I come from, I don't come from wealth, or I grew up really, really poor, with my single mom with 5 children, and so all those things do keep me grounded, even though in spite of all the achievements and so on, and also help me to continue to keep pushing.
Awesome, awesome. I'm gonna go back to people just a little bit, because I figure, it's Iceland. Folks, I typically don't try and dive into a whole lot of it. I want to hear it fresh and be kind of surprised. So for
Yes,
many of
yes,
you folks who say, "Oh, you're asking these questions," whatever, I like to be surprised. So
yes.
you know, it's Iceland. It's cold. Okay.
Yes.
Are there some customs that the people practice there? For you, know, it's 20 years, but for
Yeah.
us regular people, I hate to say regular, but we're in the
Mhm.
warm. For us,
That's true.
you um, tell us a little bit about any of those customs that you find that may have come about because of the weather there, or just because it's an Icelander culture
Mhm,
or
mhm,
custom.
mhm. Well, there in Iceland, I guess there are many things that people do to pass time, and it's different during different seasons, right? So in the summertime, you'll find that there are a lot of outdoor festivals, and people go camping a lot. Travel around the country and camp, especially now during COVID when people weren't traveling abroad. You could barely get a space on a campsite because everybody's camping, right? And from tiny campers to huge mansions. And, Icelanders they love the nature here, right? So there's a lot of going to, you know, to experiencing some natural resource. And I don't know if you know this, but recently we had the volcano, and it became a funny thing here. It's just about who didn't go to see it, because everybody was going to see the volcano, and I think I've been there like 3 times,
I
and
was about
it's
to
quite,
ask.
yes, it's quite the walk to go there to see the volcano. So, you find that people are doing that during the summertime. Then during, the winter time, obviously people go, skiing because the snow is there. And then with respect to, I find that during these times, people spend a lot of time with their families, doing activities together. And unlike our Christmas, because, Christmas just passed, so I can speak about that. A lot of it is spent indoors with your family. And maybe if you go out, you do go to maybe a Christmas concert together. But yeah, that was something I had to get used to. And then the foods that
Mm.
you eat during that time also represent these customs and traditions that they've been, you know, that Icelanders have practiced for generations. And one of the weird thing is, when I moved to Iceland 20 years ago, that was also during a Christmas time. Weird, a Jamaican going from heat to just melting cold. But it was an experience. I learned pretty quickly. But there's a food that Icelanders eat during that time, and it is it's fermented skate. And
Fermented. Repeat that.
fer-
Fermented.
it's fermented skate, right? And
Okay.
so what this is, and I know many Icelanders would even disagree with it, that they find it this, that even though I find it tasteful, they think it's disgusting. And this is like a delicacy that is eaten on December 23rd every year. It's called Þorláksmessa. So if I would describe this, it's a very, it's obviously skate, and it's very pungent, strong ammonia smell to it. And you have to have your special skate hair and your skate clothes, because you can't bring those inside your house. When you eat it, the smell just stays there. And yeah,
Ooh.
it's but for me, I continue to eat this even though I don't know anyone around me that likes it. Maybe just older people like it, because I moved here during a Christmas time. And I don't know, I enjoyed that experience of my first Christmas in Iceland. And so I find myself, there's some sort of nostalgia to it. I find myself creating that, or trying to create that first experience. So yeah, you find there are a lot of things that Icelanders do, and including just the food we eat, the customary things. That's one of them.
So, so you mentioned this, and I can't pronounce it, but this skate,
Skate,
what,
but in Icelandic it's called skata.
scatter. You mentioned
Skata,
this
yes.
scatter. Now, I'm not sure how many of us, because I wasn't a stinking toe, or thinking toes used to call it in Jamaica, fan.
Yes.
So,
No, believe it. I remember that. Sometimes I couldn't afford to buy it, and my little friends would give me a little taste of it. But oh, trust me, I remember that. But it's nothing compared to that. That's like a
I
cracker.
know
This is this is a
this
fish.
sounds like this is stinking toe to the extreme.
Pretty much, because you do have the smell and the taste. It's just, yeah, yeah.
But
But I know
is
many
there another?
Jamaicans listening to this probably will think, what's wrong with this person? But no, I'm still Jamaican. Don't worry, even though I eat this fish.
So, is there another food that you would recommend?
Hmm. Ooh.
Icelander food.
Oh, so again, I find myself eating the weird ones, and I have Icelandic friends who do not eat these kind of things, but it's also part of the custom and the tradition. So I think it's in early, when is it, January, February, then you have this not a festival, but it's like a tradition where Icelanders eat the food from the olden days. So you will find them with sheep head, rotten shark. I don't like rotten shark. I don't eat it, but I do eat the sheep's head. sheep testicles and all those things that they
How
eat
do they
around
do the
then.
sheep? How do they do the sheep's head? Because we do the goat head for manish
Yeah,
water.
exactly, right? No, 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 no. It's roasted and then you eat it cold. So it's roasted and then you eat it cold, or you can eat it up, heat it up. I do. I heat it up when I eat it, and
Wow.
they call it like a gamma.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, and people are quite impressed when I say I eat it. I mean, again, I don't know many Icelanders who eat this, like the young people. Some people are just, but it's me. I love to take part in traditions and respect and honor it, even though I'm here and I did the same back home. So I guess it's just like a personal thing then.
That's awesome right there. So they have their own version of goat head, gamma.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. But
No,
no, it's
no,
it's a personal thing.
there seems to be there's a language.
Yes.
What is the language?
So the official language here is Icelandic, and it's my everyday language. I practice in Icelandic. I had to learn Icelandic when I moved here, and that was also a culture shock for me because I didn't realize when I moved to Iceland that there was a completely different language. um, and I don't know. It obviously it's close to maybe Swedish and Norwegian, even though there are some. Icelandic is the old language, but the other ones have evolved, and this one has somewhat remained the same for thousands of years.
Mm.
So I had to learn Icelandic, and
Well, you're gonna give us a taste a little
oh
later on. We're
Jesus!
gonna get a
You start
taste a
sounding
little
like
later.
the Icelanders. Is like, give me a little taste of Jamaica. Patwa.
What? Well, here is where we're going next. You're right
Mhm.
there.
Yeah,
What do people say when they
yeah.
find out that you're Jamaican?
Icelanders are very positive towards Jamaicans, and my, some of the first experiences with anyone who finds out, you're a Jamaican. For now, in the early years, obviously, because there are people who know who I am, even if they don't know me personally, they know my name, which is a weird thing. Um, but in the early days, when someone asks you where are you from, and you say Jamaica, the first thing they say is, Cool Runnings, Bob Marley. And people here know Bob Marley songs better than I do, and I feel embarrassed about that. It's weird, and Cool Runnings. Usain Bolt, obviously, these days. So it's yeah, Icelanders
Wow.
know a lot about Jamaican, culture and musicians, and which
So
was for me is quite impressive.
so you mentioned Bob Marley.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll hear reggae music maybe at an event or maybe
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. So like these outdoor festivals that I talk about, you find that there are sometimes there are reggae music played there. Sean Paul is played quite a bit in clubs here, and Bob Marley obviously, and I think recently I heard Popcorn, which was quite strange, but really good. Obviously makes me proud. Popcorn playing in Iceland in the there's not much clubbing going on now because of COVID, but I
right.
remember being somewhere and I heard Popcorn, or even on the radio. I think I heard Popcorn, which was quite wow, Popcorn on the radio. But you hear Bob Marley on the radio all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, so Jamaica, and then you have these bands, like there's a very popular reggae band here, which is called Hjalmar, and they
Oh,
went to
really?
Jamaica a couple of years. Yes, they went to Jamaica a couple of years ago and stayed there for months. Did a documentary in Jamaica, and recorded an album in Jamaica, and then came back to Iceland. Had the release party. I was invited, and they had jerk chicken and red stripe beer, And I remember them, wanting my feedback on it, but little do they know, I'm not the best cook in the world, but but I moved here early, so please, Jamaicans, don't kill me for that, for saying that. I moved here early, pretty young, and my granny used to do all the cooking. So yeah, but I could taste good food. I can taste good food, and I know what good
Right,
food tastes like because I
right.
grew up
Yes.
with good food around. So
T-
it was
The
good.
taste
It
buds
was
are
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so.
It was good.
So let me ask you, how do you stay kind of close to the culture
Hmm.
while you're so kind
Yeah,
of far away and in this?
that's
How do you,
true. Yeah,
and I know you have kids, and
I do.
I know it's a two-part kind of question. How do you stay close to the culture, and
Hmm.
then how are they about the Jamaican culture?
Yeah. So, regarding the first part, how I stay close to the culture, I listen to my Jamaican music all the time. And, on my playlist right now for 2021, it was, and people will be quite surprised to hear this because I guess I'm quite reserved. My top artist, Jamaican artist, Vibes Cartel, what's her, Alkaline, Dexter Dubs, Spice, I know, right? Spice, and what's her name? Chanel Moore. She's such a great singer. I
So
listen to her all the time.
you're a
And
big dancehall fan.
I am a big dancehall fan. And then the second thing I do is, I love to cook up a storm. So, see, Jamaicans, I've learned now, I'm a cook now. I can cook up our food, and I invite friends over. And I used to, I invited my colleagues back in my other firm over for dinner, for Jamaican dinner, cook up a buffet. And
What?
before COVID, I would have like a Jamaican party at the end of, like, a
Wow.
Jamaican Christmas get together at the end of, it's usually after Christmas, like around the 28th, 29th, 30, somewhere there. And I've
What
done that for a while.
what's on the menu? Because again,
Yeah.
what do you cook?
Yeah.
Where do you get
Yeah.
your items?
Oh, good question. So I've, before I answer that, and there are Jamaicans here, right? And when Jamaicans come to Iceland as well, funny enough, they find me. And so I try to get the group together and we go out, to dinner or something and just hang out for a little bit. And the Jamaicans that are here, we hang out together as well. There are a couple of Jamaicans here, my sister included. I have a sister here, and
Okay.
so with respect to keeping my kids, accustomed to our culture or giving them some knowledge about that. Obviously, they listen to the music all around, the music when I'm playing it and they catch on to it. I mean, they sing, they sing Alkaline quite a bit and Vibes Cartel. and, I try to, so Jamaicans, I mean, we're here speaking right now and I can put on the English, but if I get mad, and I'm sure you can relate, the Jamaican is going to come out.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
I'm known as the Jamaican mom. The Jamaican comes out and, the patois come out, right? And I think they know that I mean business then. Um, I haven't been able to take them back to Jamaica in years, but I hope
Okay.
to do so soon. I hope,
Okay.
COVID, obviously, my plan was to go last year, but
Okay.
COVID had something to do with that.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so, I try to keep them abreast with what's
Grounded.
going on in Jamaica as well. And they have social media where they follow Jamaicans and,
Okay.
artists from there because they love music too.
Awesome.
Now, with respect to where I get my ingredients for my cooking,
Yes.
so there is whenever I go to the States, which is where most of my family lives today, I buy up my ingredients and I take them back home. they also send me stuff here. So, like I'm always stacked up on my curry and my jerk, and Scotch bonnet, and all of that. And I love bully beef, and I'm sorry, I still love dumpling and butter, even though I, and you know what? My children love it too. Like, and tin mackerel and dumpling, you know. I said
They
yes,
are true. They are
true
some
Jamaican.
true Jamaicans there.
I'm so proud when I see them eating, bully beef and rice, because I grew up on some of these things. And even though obviously I can buy food or whatever, I just want to, sometimes it's just, you want to do that. You want to go back home for a minute, even if it's through food. And I get there's like an African shop here, so I can get some of the products like plantain if I want to do fried plantain, and peas, just some of the small ingredients that I can't get. And oxtail,
Okay.
they sell oxtail here in the shop, in the
Oh,
stores. Yeah, but you want to know something? Like, it's one of the cheapest meats because Icelanders don't really use it that much. And I'm like, boy, you guys don't know what you're
see,
missing.
yeah. I mean, it's oxtail has gone up so high. So it looks like
Oh,
we need
trust
you to
me.
send us a care package from
Hey,
Iceland with
there's an
oxtail.
idea. There's an idea. No, it's really cheap. I would say probably around, like, I'm thinking about Jamaican dollars now, like
Right.
maybe $300 a kilo. It's very cheap
Wow.
for oxtail.
Wow.
How much
That's
would it cost?
nothing.
Like, yeah, exactly. And I
That's
can imagine it's super expensive down there now because everybody love oxtail, right?
right. Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Oxtail
Hmm.
gravy. Oh yeah. You put oxtail
Mm.
gravy on everything.
Oh, I was in New York recently, and just over the summer, and I feel like I was eating that every day. Like I wanted to get in every last drop before I had to go back home because you want, and every day eating Jamaican food, I'm still paying the price for that physically today.
So you talked about the oxtail price. What's the cost of living
Mhm.
there like?
So Iceland is really an expensive place to live, right? Uh, it's high, I would say. Uh, but you get a decent salary,
Mm,
and obviously it varies. So if you're in a minimum wage job, it's going to correlate with the way your standard of living. But it's a yeah, the cost of living here is high, and you get salary to match in most cases. Like people
okay.
can get by, and what make perhaps weighs that up is that we have a very good social system that's working very well. Education is free. Children go to the doctors until they're 18 for free. You go to the dentist almost for free. You just pay like a registration fee, which is very small. It's nothing major because all that's paid for by the national healthcare insurance.
Okay.
And yeah. Hmm.
Um, on average, if I was to go to dinner to like a
Hmm.
medium place,
Yes.
what am I spending?
Oh, so what we talking? What are you eating? Because
Let's say let's say it's 3, 4 star. I don't know.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, you can get away with, maybe in Jamaican dollars, probably about maybe
And you could use
thirteen
US.
thousand.
You,
Okay,
or
okay.
you could
So
use
you could,
US. Yes.
okay, so maybe $100 would do for two people going out to dinner in
Okay.
like a medium. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But if you're gonna be there and just have one course, then let's go down to $70, $60, somewhere there. So food here is expensive for sure. Um, what
I
would it
see.
be like in Jamaica today? Because for me, I haven't been back home in a long time. Shamefully, I'm gonna come home. Don't worry. But what would it be like going out to dinner now?
Well,
in the same establishment.
I mean, again, I don't do when I go home, I don't do the 3 star or
Mm.
4 stars. So I'm a kind of home street food type
Box
thing,
food around the corner. Yeah, that's
Exactly,
me too,
exactly. So I would,
That's me too, I have to say. Yeah, yeah. I
you
prefer
know,
that. And I
that
love to support small businesses. And I think about that consciously when I'm supporting someone. But
exactly
here,
right.
I do different versions of eating for different reasons, if it's work related or if, I don't know, it just depends on the setting and the group. But here you don't find a lot of box food on the con, and there's a lot of conscious. But I went to New York and I love it every time I was there. But in some restaurant, because one is around every corner, right? And
Yes,
I love
yes.
that. I love that actually. Yeah, but it's not, you don't find that very much here. And there's also a thing where people are super health conscious here. People are very mindful about what they eat and how it, if it's healthy enough. And yeah, so
That's why
that's
oxtail. That's why they leave out the oxtail.
probably, or they don't know that, obviously one thing is something, a delicacy in one culture, or what they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Treasure,
You see?
yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and I love the oxtail, so I'm not gonna stop eating that.
So
Yeah,
I know Iceland has this night and day
yeah,
and this thing that happens. And how did you adjust to this? And are you in that cycle
yeah.
now where, and I believe you are, but you're in that cycle now where nighttime
Darkness.
comes down like
Yeah, yeah. At
four,
three
five,
thirty, three
three
thirty,
thirty at
4.
night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's pitch black outside right now, and it's what, 5:15, right? And so we have 6 months of that, and then we have 6 months of daylight. So you kind of have to know when to go to bed, in the summertime, because it's bright outside, and one of the longest days of the year in the summer solstice. The sun is shining at midnight. I remember a
Wow.
cousin of mine who came to Iceland and during the summertime, for him to see that was, uh, Mr. Alfie Jones. It was quite funny for him to see that. And I remember his reaction standing out there in the middle of the night, the sun is shining. He's like, wow. Wow. It became because he was taking photos of everything, the nature here, which is just unspoiled. Um, and he became a street photographer after that, just taking pictures
Wow.
of the nature here, including that, how bright it is at nights. And so during the first years when I moved here, obviously that was very strange. Like, how do you
Right.
sleep in this brightness? I can't.
I That's what I
And
was
I
about
used
to
to,
ask.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
How do you
I
sleep?
used to, that was so strange. I used to, like in the beginning, I would take black bags or thick blankets and just, stuff it around the window so that the brightness doesn't come in. And until I finally got some window blinders that work, because I felt like they were not working. We had window blinds, but I just felt like it wasn't shutting out the brightness, so I needed to improve that with my methods. And but now, yeah, I mean, I have good blinds in the house, so that works. When you need to go to bed,
You,
and you're tired after the day, so it's nighttime.
right. So you basically, your clock kind of sets itself after
Yeah,
living there for a while and know that
yeah,
at 10 p.m., regardless of if it is bright and sunny outside, you're going to bed.
yes. But my bedtime is midnight all the time. No. So it's but yeah, I mean, you adjust to your environment, isn't it? You're
Right.
in any situation. So that's one of those. Like, it's nature, it's natural, it's happening. So what are you gonna do? Deal with it your way. and your body somehow, follows that too. You're tired, you go to bed.
Okay. What do you absolutely love doing in
Mhm.
Iceland? What's your favorite
Uh,
thing to do?
yeah, so I think this is recent. Like, I feel like I'm still self-discovering, and I know that might seem strange, but you know, um, just changing roles and like right now, I love traveling around Iceland with my husband. And COVID definitely put us in that situation where we spent the time in Iceland rather than traveling abroad. And I've discovered places and things in Iceland that even after so many years I didn't know was here. And we traveled. It's very common for people to travel the ring road because Iceland is like going around Iceland is just one circle. So we traveled the ring road around, and I think on our trip we took maybe 7 days to do it. We did it the year before as well, but like one year because no one was using all these fancy hotels. They were pretty practically stoning dogs with them. So of course we took advantage and live it up for very, very cheap. And then last year obviously there is more going on. The tourists are coming back, so it's gone up pricey again. So we just took a camper van and we drove around Iceland, and that was so much fun. And on the way, we were looking at all these attractions again that I personally didn't know some of it existed. And, we did a lot of hiking up into the mountains, and that was so much fun. Me as a Jamaican, obviously, why walk and walk for no reason at all. But when you get there to the top and being able to see, or just standing in front of a massive falls, or, it's just incredibly majestic, it's unspoiled. And there's something about it that's very humbling, when you stand in front of this, when you stand in front of this big, massive open space and you're looking all around you and just, I know it might sound quite spiritual, but just looking at God's creation and just like,
Wow,
as my old friend
awesome.
would
You're
say,
all.
yeah, I had this old lady friend, when I was back home. She was, I would say, quite up in her 80s, but she was one of my very, very good friends. And she sometimes would look when she's thinking about something and she says, "What is man?" You know? And in that moment, in moments like that, when you're standing there and you're looking at these things, and you're looking at whether it's the northern lights here or whatever it is, and you look and you're like, what is man? Or as
Wow.
she would say, what is money? It's that feeling. It's her way of saying this is humbling, and I feel the same. And so, I can't begin to imagine. You should come visit me and come check it out
Yep,
for
yep.
yourself, and
I it
you'll see.
sounds like a trip, It sounds
Listen,
like
I'm not just saying come visit me for the sake of being polite. You should definitely come and visit me.
all right. And
Yeah, it's
and
beautiful.
and if there's one thing you would say
Hmm.
you have to do when you come, I know I asked you what you liked, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
maybe someone
yeah.
has a shorter time
Yeah.
frame and you're like, okay, I'm
Yes.
there,
Yeah.
would there be a time when you said come during this
Hmm.
month or
Yes.
come when we have this event?
Yeah.
What
So,
would it be?
right. So again, things here are quite seasonal, right? So I have people who come here who wants to see the Northern Lights, and that's obviously something that you will see in the darkness. So you want to come when it's dark. But for me, if I'm inviting someone here, because it's, from Jamaica especially, I don't want to invite someone here in the cold time because, you have to get used to that as well. So I would say come in the summertime because you can get to travel more, see more, all this natural resources and nature, attractions that I'm talking about. And the good thing about them, which is something that, we have given up our power about back home, they're free. You know what I mean? They're free. You go and you see them. They're God's gift to human. And they're unspoiled. No one tries to pretty them up or do anything to them. It reminds me of, going to the river back home in the countryside where I grew up.
Right.
Yeah. So summertime for a Jamaican, I would say definitely come summertime because you'll be complaining about the cold in the winter.
I think that advice is specific for me also because let me tell you that cold.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I know.
I,
But I want to say something though, because even though Iceland is, cold, I can say that's relative because for some people, even Canada gets really, really like much colder than Iceland and sometimes even England. And, I always like to say that people call this place Iceland because they want to hide it. Like Greenland truly should be called Iceland in Iceland, Greenland. Because the
oh,
difference between the difference of temperature and, between these two countries and, is quite
oh,
something. Yeah. And even recently, I mean, maybe it's not something that talking about the attractions. I took a trip with my sons, just me, and I have twin boys, like identical twin boys, right? So we took a trip together in the summer where I wanted to visit the Arctic Circle, and we went over there. We took a ferry for 3 hours and went over there to see it. But we went in summertime. I can't imagine going in the wintertime, but nonetheless, I still feel like I said, and know for a fact, Iceland is not as cold as some of these countries that you would think would be warmer, right?
the
So if
Arctic.
that's any consolation, yeah.
Yeah, compared to the Arctic.
It's beautiful. It's lovely. And we got a certificate that we've crossed over, crossed into the Arctic Circle. And it was lovely.
So do
Yeah.
you spend a day there? You kind of spend a day there and sightsee?
Yeah. Yeah. Because and that's again a lot of walking, I tell you. Walk, walk, walk. Yeah. But I, it's different because it's something about unspoiled nature that gets you. You know what I mean? And so we walked a lot that day with a tour guide, and it's a small island. It's relatively small island. So yeah, about 3 hours of walking around the island, seeing it, and that's it. Like it doesn't take you more than that. And obviously we've been stopping on the way, so it doesn't even take that long really. Saw all the
Right.
puffins and so that was lovely.
Okay. Nice, nice. So, Claudia, listen, you have spent, I mean, just gave us a wealth of information here.
I hope
Really
it's
appreciate the
useful.
time.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give you a scenario. You
Mm-hmm.
land in Jamaica, get
Yes.
off the plane, get out
Yes.
the airport. What's
Yes.
that first thing that you're doing?
Before I answer that, I saw some of the interviews where you asked me for that, and I did give this some thought. And I have a hard time choosing because I would like somebody to be waiting at that airport for me with some nice cargo and rice. I would want that. I would want a hot dog and a juicy beef patty. I would I would be so honored if somebody would show up right there and wait out. The rice and peas and the rice and the curry and rice where they have it
Right.
in this container in a black bag and wait for you with the pork on the top.
The scandal bag.
Yes, the candle work. And wait for you with it. And as you come out, people who've been in that hot room waiting for your luggage and all of that know the feeling when you burst out a door and see the place. You see the people, you see the face, you see the smiles. That's something I miss about Jamaica. People always smiling and
Wow.
just pleasant, even though sometimes you don't even know the circumstance that waiting for them at home are they coming out of. But that the Jamaican smile is
Nice.
it's not to be underestimated. Mm.
I had a question for you, and not one of my typical, but are
Okay.
you married? You're married to an Icelander?
So I am not at the moment. I was
Okay,
married to an Icelander before, which is
okay,
the father of my children. But I'm
right.
currently married to a British guy. I say a
Okay,
British guy, and funny
okay.
enough, in Jamaican more than me.
Because I was going to ask you about the
Yeah.
husband and the Jamaican food, and
Oh
his
no, he
son.
loves it. Mm. No, he loves the Jamaican food. So he's from Manchester, and we met here in Iceland.
Nice, nice.
And he is just, and that's the obviously the person who's taken me around Iceland, which is quite a shock to me. Like he's a British guy, and he knows so much about Iceland, and
Nice.
showed me all these places, and because
He's the one
I don't think I'd be brave. Can you
I
say
said
that
I'm
again?
coming to hang with him. So
Oh,
because
you
like
you
he's
would
the
have
one
a
that will
great
take me
time.
around.
Oh, trust me, you would have a great time because he knows. It's amazing. I'm in awe of the things he knows about this country, the history and the landscape, and just he's amazing. So
Nice,
yeah, he would
nice.
definitely show you around.
So here is how I typically end.
Hmm.
In the Icelandic language, how would you say goodbye in the most
Oh,
informal way?
informal way. Oh, just bless.
Yes.
Showums.
Bless?
Bless. So bless is
Like,
bye, and showums
oh
to see
wow.
you. Yeah,
Just like
yeah.
that. Bless.
Just like that. Bless, bless, bless. Sometimes we say bless, bless, bye,
That's
bye.
so like that sound almost like when Jamaicans say bless up.
Exactly. But this is instead of it's a greeting, it's a goodbye. So it's like
Oh,
bless, bless. Yeah.
all right. Well,
And
Claudia,
and
go
and
ahead.
then we also say showums, which is see you later. Showums.
Shawums?
Showums. There you go.
Okay.
Showums.
Shawums.
Yeah,
Claudia,
showums. Yes.
thank you
Yes.
again. All the best.
No, then
Bless,
you say
bless.
tackfitted.
Oh no, don't add anymore. I was just getting the bless, bless and the showum. And now you're adding more to it. No,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
us Jamaicans love a postmortem. We don't
Oh
end
yes,
a conversation
I know. Love it,
because you and
love
I
it,
will
love
be
it.
talking.
Oh, love it,
So
love it, love it.
thank you, bless, bless, and shalom.
Oh, tackfitted. Oh, bless, bless.
Show us some love now. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss a video.